Every day, you make hundreds of decisions, from what to eat for breakfast to how you respond to a friend's text. But what if I told you that most of these decisions aren't entirely yours? Let's dive into the invisible forces shaping your choices. The illusion of free will. We often feel in complete control of our decisions, but research suggests otherwise. Psychologists call this the illusion of free will. Many choices are influenced by subconscious biases, societal norms, and even how options are presented. Example: consider a menu at a restaurant. Ever notice how the most expensive item is rarely ordered? Its purpose is to make other pricey dishes seem more reasonable. This is called anchoring. A study by Daniel Kahneman, a Nobel laureate in psychology, highlights how our brains rely on mental shortcuts or heuristics that bypass logical thinking, especially under pressure. The power of framing. How information is presented can drastically impact your decisions. This is known as the framing effect. Example 1. Imagine a food label that says 90% fat-free versus contains 10% fat. Both mean the same thing, but the first option feels healthier due to positive framing. Example 2. During elections, candidates frame their policies as either gains, "we'll create jobs," or losses. If they win, jobs will vanish. This subtly pushes you toward their agenda without you realizing it. Framing works because our brains are wired to avoid losses more than pursue gains, a phenomenon known as loss aversion. Social proof, the herd mentality. Humans are social creatures, and we naturally look to others for guidance. This is called social proof. When we see others doing something, we subconsciously assume it's the correct choice. Think about product reviews. A 5-star rating with thousands of reviews makes you more likely to buy, even if you don't know those reviewers. Solomon Asch's famous conformity experiment showed how people often agree with a group, even when the group is clearly wrong, just to fit in. The role of habits and conditioning. Psychology shapes choices not just in the moment, but also over time through habits and conditioning. Habits form when repeated behaviors create neural pathways in your brain, making them automatic. Have you ever reached for your phone without thinking, just because it buzzed? That's classical conditioning in action. Your brain associates the sound with the reward of checking a message. According to Charles Duhigg's book, The Power of Habit, about 40% of your daily actions aren't decisions. They're habits. The subtle influence of colors and design. Even colors can nudge your choices. Marketing and branding often use color psychology to influence emotions and decisions. Red is associated with urgency and passion, which is why clearance sales often use it, while blue evokes trust, making it the choice for banks and tech companies. This taps into the emotional part of the brain, which often overrides rational thinking when making decisions. The authority effect. We're wired to trust authority figures, sometimes to a fault. This is called the authority bias. Example: if a doctor recommends a specific diet or medication, we're more likely to follow it, even if we haven't researched alternatives. Historical reference. Stanley Milgram's experiment demonstrated how people follow authority figures, even when it goes against their moral beliefs. The role of emotions in decision-making. Emotions often overpower logic when it comes to making choices. While we like to think we're rational, studies reveal that emotional responses heavily guide our decisions. Example: why do we splurge on things during stressful times? Emotional purchases provide temporary relief from negative feelings. Antonio Damasio, a neuroscientist, found that people with impaired emotional processing struggled to make even simple decisions, proving that emotions are essential for effective decision-making. How to regain control over your choices. While psychology influences us in many ways, awareness is the first step to taking back control. Here's how. Pause before deciding. Give yourself time to think critically rather than reacting impulsively. Question the context. Ask yourself why you're making a particular choice. Is it framed in a way that pushes you in a certain direction? Learn about cognitive biases. Understanding concepts like anchoring, framing, and social proof helps you recognize when they're influencing you. Practice mindfulness. Being present in the moment allows you to make conscious, deliberate choices. Your choices might not be as yours as you think, but the good news is you now have the tools to spot these psychological influences. If you found this video enlightening, hit the like button, share it with someone who'd enjoy this mind-opening discussion, and subscribe for more insights into the fascinating world of psychology. Remember, awareness is power. Use it wisely.